and welcome back to another episode of the Abraham Watkins podcast. I'm back with Abraham Watkins managing partner Benny Agosto Jr. It's been about 18 months since you were last on the episode or on the podcast. What has happened that you can fill us in on?
Well, Jeffrey, thank you. You've been doing a great job with these podcasts, and it's great to be back. The last 18 months, it seems like yesterday. Time has really flown by. But what we see in our firm is that we have continued to get ready for trial and try cases. We've had great settlements, great verdicts, and also the number of our lawyers have continued to grow because we have a lot of business, a lot of great opportunities. That means we need more lawyers to work the cases. So we're very proud of where we are. We're proud of our diversity. We're proud of our women lawyers. We're proud of all the things that we're accomplishing for our clients. But when we look at the best results is those trials that we have.
And what would you say is your proudest achievement of the past 18 months?
Well, that's really what it builds, because we work cases from the ground up. And we always say to folks, who you hire matters, and that's Abraham Watkins. And what happens is we are real trial lawyers that take the cases from the ground up. But what is the crowning jewel? What is the last ultimate result? It's a verdict, a trial verdict. And so in the last 18 months, we've had verdicts in Houston, multi-million-dollar verdicts in Houston. We've had multi-million-dollar verdicts in other counties across the state of Texas. And we've also had multi-million-dollar verdicts in other states and other parts of the country. And so when we look at the work we're doing, we're proud of our work, but of course, we are very proud of our verdicts. And the multi-million-dollar settlements that we've had in the last 18 months, the multi-million-dollar verdicts show the world that we are the firm that people want to come hire. But we have to have the personnel and the hard workers to get ready for trial. And that's what we've been putting together more and more the last 18 months.
Gotcha. And you mentioned out-of-state verdicts. What was one of those? Maybe you can share what happened. I know it's a verdict, so it's a little bit more public than a confidential settlement. So what kind of happened in the case? What did we learn at trial, and what was the eventual result of trial?
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. This was a case where Mr. Anthony died in Mississippi, in a small county in Mississippi. He was working and he was on a genie lift, boom lift, which is one of those mechanical equipments that raise you up high to change light bulbs or to do work on higher altitudes. So he's working his lift. He goes up the boom lift. He's changing light bulbs in a gym, and the genie boom lift collapsed unexpectedly. And as it turned out, it was a product defect. So Lena Lorenzo, one of our great lawyers, trial lawyers here at the office, and I worked the case from beginning to end. We went to Mississippi and did an investigation initially. We hired the experts. We took all the depositions and litigation. And this was a company from Seattle, Washington, who makes these products, and it was being tried in Mississippi. So eventually, after much attempts to try to settle the case, it didn't settle, and we went to trial. And Lena Lorenzo and myself, accompanied by John Augusto, one of our baby lawyers who's building his career now, looking to be a junior associate, hopefully soon, we together worked the case and proved that it was a product defect, that they didn't design it properly, that it was manufactured improperly, and that there was no warning, accurate warning for Mr. Anthony. And the jury came back with a $10 million verdict.
Wow.
And in a small town in Mississippi, that was they said the largest verdict in that county ever.
Well, very nice. So you mentioned all the work we've got going on right now. We have so many attorneys. How many attorneys do we have to now?
Well, we are up to 31 lawyers, trial lawyers at the firm. We have several other contract lawyers, and of course our staff is grown the same way because we have so many lawyers. Interestingly, when I got here 30 years ago, I was the 8th lawyer. So there were 7 lawyers, I was hired as the 8th lawyer. And I was the first minority lawyer hired at the firm in the great history of the firm. Now, 30 years later, we have 31 trial lawyers. We have a great team, staff lawyers and staff that helps us work the cases. And this is the largest the firm has ever been. Of course, we don't want to have numbers just to have them. because we have a lot of lawyers, that means a lot of expenses, a lot of salaries, a lot of other things. But because we're blessed to have great business opportunities, great clients that have suffered injuries or problems in, throughout the state and the nation, we're able to represent them fiercely with now 31 lawyers. So we're real proud of that.
Wow. Okay. And we talked about verdicts and settlements. So recently, these high-profile settlements, are you able to share any way that these affected the firm's trajectory moving forward?
Well, this is what happens when we settle these cases. Sometimes they're confidential, so we really can't talk all the details. But we know we have a lot of chemical plant cases from different plants. We live in the Gulf Coast region, so here across the Texas Gulf Coast, there's chemical plants after chemical plants. These plants are older. So unfortunately, accidents happen, explosions and fires happen. But because we've been doing this for so long, we are experts in this kind of case. When there is a large settlement that benefits a lot of people, and then unfortunately, a year later or months later, there's another fire, another explosion, clients call us directly. So our trajectory has continued to grow because now we have a vast number of former clients, happy clients, that understand that if anything happens to them or their family members or friends, they can call us directly. And we don't advertise, right? What we do is we do good service for our clients. So that allows us to have more opportunities directly with clients when they're affected. And the benefit is that we have more work to do. And of course, with having great lawyers like we have and great teams, great staff, we're able then to take care of our clients. And we're looking at settlements, $100 million, sometimes more than that, for different groups of cases. And the beneficiaries are the clients. Of course, they're the ones that have been harmed. And so we have to do the best we can to raise their profile to get the best settlement possible.
Okay. And have you seen the landscape of our industry change in this past 18 months to 2 years while you're going through all these settlements and verdicts and government changes and regulations? Has anything really changed in our industry?
Well, the personal injury industry changes all the time. If I go back the 30 years I've been doing it, workers' comp changed in 1991 and medical malpractice changed in 2003, and there's always changes. There's things that we have to adapt and work around. But what happens is that my experience tells me that Abraham Watkins, being the most experienced law firm in Texas in personal injury, rises to the top. So as things change in the law, we need to continue to change to get even better. One example, the Texas Supreme Court recently, since these 18 months, came down with an opinion that said that certain behavior at trial was not going to be permitted and verdicts were turned back. Of course, we've been lucky never to use those techniques, but what it does is it teaches us to make sure we do better, improve, so that as we go to trial, we get ready for trial, we're hitting on all cylinders and we're meeting the standards that Texas Supreme Court or the laws have set for us. So we don't see those problems. We see others maybe suffering from problems with the new changes, but what we're doing is adapting immediately, make sure that we follow the law and the procedures to be able to maintain that high level of work ethic and work, force, so that we can continue to be successful for our clients.
So circling back to just the growth of the firm, we recently announced, I want to say 6 junior associates that'll be working under associates within the firm, in our firm structure. What do you look forward to when promoting contract attorneys to junior associates? How do you try and mold or mentor these young attorneys into becoming full associates in their careers?
Yeah, for many, many years, we had a different model. The model was people would help us when we needed help. We'd get some contract lawyers or junior lawyers, and then we would teach them and train them, but then they would end up going to another firm or moving along because we wouldn't bring them into the fold. The partners now in the last few years have changed that attitude, and what we do is we'll hire new lawyers right out of law school, maybe contract lawyers, give them some experience, let them to start understanding the system, and then we mold them into how we work and how we do things at Abraham Watkins, and then we bring them into junior associate status. That gives them more benefits and it gives them opportunities maybe that they didn't have before. But what we do is have an open door policy. In order to really mentor folks, we have to all have open doors. We have to listen, answer questions, and guide on the next steps, because the younger lawyers maybe don't have the experience. They need it from us. So open door policy is number one. Number two, we have monthly meetings. We meet with all the lawyers. We bring them in and answer questions and give them techniques to make them better. And then each of the partners, of course, have a group, a team that works with them that we supervise, and other senior associates watch over them. So we have this trajectory to build experience, build knowledge, and then put them to work. Because the best way you're going to learn as a junior lawyer is to be taking depositions, to go into court, to go into hearings, meeting with clients. That's the best experience. The practical experience is the best. And so the change has been that now we don't let them leave. If they're good and we're training them, we want them here. And as long as the business is the way it's been and the model that we have, then our growth has been an organic, natural growth because of the amount of business that we have. So we're blessed to have it. We thank God for the opportunities, but we are grateful that we have such great team members and lawyers working at the firm now.
And when these young baby lawyers are coming right out of law school, what is it that the partners kind of look for when hiring someone to come into the firm?
Well, every lawyer that graduates and passes the bar is excited. So they have a lot of excitement, but they don't know what they don't know. They know enough to pass the bar. Now we're looking for more than just book knowledge. We want some street smarts. We want some personality traits that are good to deal with clients. Remember, this is a service industry. We have to serve our clients. And then we want people with passion, because the passion for the work and passion for our cases is what makes you work harder. And I know that you can't work all the time. You have to have some free time. But when they're in the office, when we're all in the office, what we want is passion for our clients. And if you're passionate about your case, you're passionate about your clients, to bring justice to them for what they've been through, then that shines right through. So we want these younger lawyers with that smarts and passion. And that combination with our leadership, mentoring, and training will make a good lawyer. And we've seen it happen. 30 years I've been here, I've seen it happen. Now we're going to continue that as our theme to make our firm the one that clients want to hire.
Okay. I actually just had a thought. I know one of our former junior associates, former contract attorneys, he's a veteran. So he was, I believe, an Apache helicopter pilot, and I know that kind of helps him with the work he does today. Can you kind of talk about the cases he kind of works on and how important it is for you to hire veterans?
Yeah, well, let me tell you what. Veterans come with medals. Maybe medals we don't see, but these medals are the experience from being a veteran, from training in the United States Armed Forces. So they come better equipped and better prepared than any other lawyer that comes out. So if they have a law degree and they have those medals of having been a veteran and worked for the Armed Forces, they come better prepared. So we take that as the standard for them. We build them up. When somebody like one of our lawyers, Barney Dill, who's a former Apache helicopter pilot for the Army, that is a great accomplishment in and of itself. Now he's a lawyer working cases with us. Well, what does that bring? The experience of being an actual pilot. He's a pilot, he's a veteran, he's a lawyer, he's a hard worker, family man. You combine that, that makes for a very good quality lawyer. And when we work helicopter cases, aviation cases, we have a number of cases here in Houston. There was a recent helicopter crash that we represent family members from the folks that died. Well, having a pilot in your team when we're working an aviation case for a helicopter crash makes a huge difference. We have an in-house expert, so to speak. So we hire outside experts, of course, but we have somebody who's an expert in the office. So we use the experiences that these lawyers bring with them. Some of them are CPAs in their prior life before they became lawyers. Some of them are school teachers before they became lawyers. We take their past experiences, mold them into the best lawyers they can be, and those experiences make them even better.
Going into encompassing the whole firm, what would you say are the short-term goals and maybe some long-term goals for the firm as a whole?
Well, the firm continues to do great month after month, year after year. I've been, of course, a spectator watching the growth. I've been working inside the lines, so to speak, because I'm a trial lawyer myself. So I've seen it both as a manager and as a trial lawyer. We continue to grow. Those, that work done every month is the short term. We want to improve, be ready for trial, and have success. That never stops. The growth has come as a result of the amount of work we do, the kind of cases we have. That has been natural. What we're looking now into the future is to elevate leadership. We have lawyers that have been here for a while. The partners are contemplating new partners. We're contemplating changes that will make the firm better, like we have now for the last few years. We're going to continue to get better. And we want to have leadership roles of different new people to join in, because as the firm grows, we need to have different managers and partners in different positions. So we're very excited about that. The future, a lot of people say, your future's bright. Why don't you have offices all over the state? We don't need to have offices all over the state. We have a central office in Houston, Texas, 800 Commerce. We own the building. We're not going anywhere. And so when we work across the country, we join with local lawyers. We travel to wherever we have to be in other states, and we litigate the cases just from here. And so as technology has changed, we can do Zoom meetings, we can do Zoom depositions. Flights are easier to get to different cities. As technology advances, so does the practice of law. We can get better, and that's what we're constantly doing. In the short term, improving our lawyers, becoming the best we can be. In the long term, thinking, where are we going to go? We don't have to have offices all over the country. What we have to do is work with partners a lot across the country to bring success and justice for the clients that hire us.
And what would you say the long-term, maybe one of the long-term goals that you can share is?
Well, remember, the firm has been around for 73 years. We've been at this location since 1972. We've grown quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So we have now announced that we're going to have a new building annex attached to our building. In 2025, we start with that. That's a short-term goal, but also it's going to be a long-term goal, because as we elevate, we're going to put 4 stories in the annex. That's going to be a lot of space. We can have lawyers and staff working to represent our clients. So that's short-term, but really long-term, because it means the longevity of the firm, the history moving forward. Adding new partners is going to mean that our firm dynamic continues to grow. One of the successes we've had at Abraham Watkins is the diversity of the firm. And I can personally vouch for the fact that the firm continues to be better year after year, because our firm has maintained itself diverse to represent the city, the entire city, looking the way the city looks. So we represent the city. Our firm is, diverse the way the city is. And so those are the building blocks. The number of lawyers, the hardworking staff, the building growth with the annex, and then adding more members of management that allows us to continue to grow into the future. Always having as number one, not only the most experienced and oldest firm in Texas that does personal injury, but being number one in results as well.
You kind of touched on the city and being a part of the city. Recently and not so recently, the firm and you have contributed a lot to the community. A large donation to the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. The UNCF just had their gala last weekend. Can you touch on what it means to be a part of the Houston community, what it means to you to give back, and maybe why you chose some of these foundations and nonprofits to donate to?
Yeah, it's important that we are part of the city. We're part of the community. We want to represent the community. We want to look like the community, but we can't just profit from the community. In other words, we profit because we work. That's what we do for a living. But at the same time, we recognize that it is through the sacrifices of others that sometimes we have a job. So we need to turn that into a positive no matter what. We bring positive results for the families. We bring positive results for our employees and our families because we're earning a living. But then we give back. And I think to whom much is given, much is expected. And I believe that from the Holy Book, and I live that way. And the firm does that. Not just me, but my partners in the firm gives back. So that's why we give to Habitat for Humanity. And then the firm, members of the firm goes and helps build a house. That's why we give to scholarships at all 3 law schools in Houston, including giving to the United Negro College Fund, UNCF. Why do we do that? Because that money goes right back to the students that are in the most need to get educated. And we know if we're helping the community is building itself. So we give to different things. The Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, another way that we give back. Why? Because their foundation is working with emerging leaders, and that is young workers, people that graduate from college that don't have experience, don't know where to go to start a living and start working. They need networking. So this donation to the Hispanic Chamber helps those young workers that are becoming emerging leaders to learn how to be a leader, learn how to connect and network, and hopefully as they build their own businesses, they turn back into the community and give back to the community. So it's a very good cycle that we're generating. We're jumping in to generate help, wealth for others, and opportunities for others so they can put some benefit back into the city.
And some of that community involvement, I think, has led to some recent awards you've actually received. Help me pronounce it. The Oatley Award?
The Oatley Award.
The Oatley Award. Latino Leaders. The Houston Bar gave you an award. So there's been several awards that you received over the past.
Juneteenth Award.
The Juneteenth Award. There's several awards you've received over the past year, let's say. What do you accredit to getting those awards? What do those awards mean to you? And what do you hope to share with the audience on each of those awards?
Yeah, when you get an award, you hope it's because you've done something good, right? I mean, sometimes there's popularity awards or awards because of different things. There's a lot of factors, whether it's music or law or whatever. But when I get an award that I'm being recognized for, my wife and I giving money to help a foundation, or when we're recognized for the work we do for the community, or for church or different community services, it makes me proud because I was raised and taught that to be successful, you have to serve. You have to serve your community, you have to serve others. And as trial lawyers, that's what we do. We serve our community, we serve our clients. And so these awards, what they tell us is that we're doing something right. If we're helping the minority population of our city, if we're giving back money for scholarships to help educate our community, and we're getting recognized for that, then we're proud of that. And it makes me proud, but it also makes me more passionate to keep on doing more.
Okay. Well, Benny, let me get you one more question before we get you out of here. What is one thing, or maybe two things, that are your hobbies? People may not know about you. What is something that people may not know about you that you'd like to share? Yeah,
it's very interesting that I'm from the Caribbean, and that means I'm around water all the time when I was raised. Coming to Texas, especially Houston, Galveston is the closest area where I can get water. Now we're blessed to go north, and in Conroe, Lake Conroe, we enjoy spending time there. So I love water sports. I love the water. I love jet skiing and boating. Any activity we can do around water, fishing, just getting out for a ride as the sun comes down. We love that. That's one of my favorite things. I love sports in general. Being in Houston, of course, I get to enjoy all the major sports and get to go with friends and family to watch sports, to support our local teams. I love that with great passion.
Great. Thank you so much. Well, Benny, thank you for being on the podcast again. We enjoyed having you again. We'll have you on again. But thank you so much.
Jeffrey, thank you so much. And, we always say who you hire matters is so important to us because we're dedicated. to bring success for our clients, bring justice for our clients. And this is yet another opportunity to try to share that story.
All right, thank you, everybody.